Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And we see them. And today we have a fantastic show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. If you're not part of our membership, please make sure you join the membership. We got that pinned in the comments below. Let's get into today's topic here. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Stephen A. Smith reacting to this bombshell Scottie Pippen interview that he did with Patrick Bet-David. As you guys know, for those of you who follow the channel, we have produced some shows already reacting to some of the parts of that interview. We reacted, obviously, when Scottie Pippen called out players like LeBron and others who get NBA fans thrown out of games. We talked about him saying that him and Michael Jordan were never friends. We've gone over a lot of different, we went over the comments that he made about Charles Barkley and so many other aspects of that interview. So when I saw Stephen A. Smith decide to touch on this topic, I was very interested because, number one, I knew he was going to give an entertaining take on it. By the way, before we shot this show, I was watching a segment from what's the guy's name? Sports and Fitness Friends. So he did a show that he produced a few hours ago, and he says, Scottie Pippen, we don't care what you have to say. So it's around the halfway mark. I'm listening to him as I'm setting up to do this show here. And he goes, nobody wants to hear what Scottie Pippen has to say. Even if Scottie Pippen was giving away lottery ticket numbers, don't nobody want to hear from Scottie Pippen. So that cracked me up. So shout out to Sports and Fitness Friends. That was a pretty funny line. Anyway, let's continue on with the show. So I was very keen to hear what Stephen A. Smith was going to say about this. And then it got to the point where Stephen A. Smith was reacting to the comments that Scottie Pippen made about Michael Jordan. Hey, yo. When Stephen A. Smith started to react, man, he just went off. Like, he totally two-pieced this dude. Like, he was giving him combinations on his way out. So what we want to do is we want to play what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Scottie Pippen's crazy takes about being the GOAT and Michael Jordan and all of that. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here.
Oh, my God. Drug test him now. I want test. Take him into a urine sample, get a blood test, drug test him now. You got to be kidding me. I can't believe what we just heard. I can't believe it. And damn it, Patrick Bet-David, I love you. But let me tell you something right now. If you're trying to tell me that Scottie Pippen is justified in calling himself the best, you need to be drug tested too. All of you. All of you. How you the best when you wasn't even the best on your own team? How you the best when you weren't even the number one option? I mean, what? Oh, it hurts me because I don't want to do this. If you're the best, why were you calling for Jordan? If you're the best, why were you pouting on the bench when Phil Jackson called Tony Kukoc's number instead of yours in the playoff series against the Knicks? If you the best, why was Bill Cartwright in the locker room crying while excoriating you from abandoning your teammates? You led, you also quit. You quit. You had a migraine in 87. You had a migraine in a game 7 against the Pistons. Michael Jordan was left crying on a bus in his daddy's arms talking about when we gonna win. Bill Cartwright, I already told you, was crying. What are you talking about? Michael Jordan averaged over 30 about 8 or 9 times. You played defense. Michael Jordan wasn't first team all NBA defensive team 9 times. You had to play defense because you weren't that great offensively. Tremendous athleticism. 6'9". Could dunk on anybody, as Patrick Ewing would tell you. Had a sporadic jump shot. You were big enough and physical enough and talented enough to score in an open court. But a number one option, keyed upon, that wasn't your game. That was LeBron's game. That wasn't your game. That was Kobe's game. That wasn't your game. That was Michael Jordan's game. Hell, Vince Carter was the number one option. Allen Iverson was the number one option. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? GOAT, you one of the great ones. You one of the great ones, Scottie. But the GOAT, when your teammate was Michael Jordan, oh, by the way, I didn't even bring up when you went to Portland because you wanted your money. You went to Portland. Wasn't that you and the Portland Trailblazers up about 15 in that Game 7 when Kobe threw the alley-oop to Shaq, who brought down the house? Wasn't that your team? Was y'all one trip away from the finals? Wasn't that you? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I got a question, Patrick Bet-David. I got a question. Because you like your basketball. You know your basketball. A lot of people don't realize how much you know about basketball. What a big NBA fan you are. I got a question for you. Was there ever a time, Patrick Bet-David, that's right, I'm calling you out, my brother, because I love you. You know I love you and the crew. Y'all know that. I was just hanging out with you the other day. Let me ask you a question, man. Is there any time in your lifetime watching basketball that you've either said yourself or heard somebody say Scottie Pippen was in a GOAT conversation? Ever? I got another question for you. Has Scottie Pippen all of these years ever said that? He's been asked about Jordan and LeBron, or Jordan versus LeBron, or Jordan versus Kobe forever. Scottie Pippen never told nobody, nah, it's actually me that should be in that conversation.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. He said the man should be drug tested. It's hard to disagree with him. It is hard to disagree with him. It's hard to rationalize what Scottie was saying. Stephen A. Smith brought up the point. He's like, if you're the GOAT, why did that dude win all of the accolades over you on the same team? Scottie, I don't think believes a single word that he's saying that he's the GOAT. I think Scottie, to a certain extent and to a certain point, was simply trolling. All right, he was simply trolling. There's no way Scottie believes that. I don't believe Scottie Pippen is a top 20 player of all time. Not probably even top 25, probably not even top 30. I think we can list off 30 players that are better than Scottie Pippen just off the tip of our fingers right now. I mean, hell, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Kareem, Wilt, Russell, Magic, Bird, Hakeem, Duncan, Shaq. Who else am I missing? And then you can now start going through the more contemporary guys. Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis is better than him, in my personal opinion. Who else? And there's so many guys right now that's capable. I can, if we sat down and thought about it. And then of course, if you go in the past and think about other players in the past, I think you can think of 20 guys easily that are ahead of Scottie Pippen all time. So for there to be at least 25 players like in the history of the sport, like Kevin Garnett and so many other guys that are better than him, for him to say that he's on the GOAT level is laughable. It's actually laughable. Stephen A. Smith also brought up the point about the offensive and defensive side. That's also laughable. Defensively, he was a hell of a perimeter player. He's such a good perimeter player that other great defenders studied his game on defense. So many, Kobe, Kawhi, all of these guys studied him. Of course you would. But to say that he was an offense, it's not even close. Like, he ain't better than Dwayne Wade. I forgot about Dwayne Wade. There's so many guys that are better than, so many players. Not better than Nikola Jokic. He's not better than Giannis. We can just go on and on. He's not better than Luka Doncic. Well, I would say Luka is a better player than him. I would say Luka. He's not better than all of these guys. So to say that sounds ridiculous. In terms of the GOAT thing, Stephen A. Smith brought up a point. He's trying to sell books. And I'm beginning to believe that that's what all of this was about. That's what all of this was about. He also brought up the fact about Scottie talking about making it about the Bulls and this and this and this. And Scottie has to know that the reason he is as popular as he is today is because he played with Michael Jordan, irrespective of the rings. Because there's been other great teammates that have won championships, multiple rings, that we don't talk about to this extent or talk about 30 years later. 30 years later, we're not talking about them. So the fact that you played with Michael Jordan even makes it possible to sell a book. Why? Because yes, people are interested in you. Yes, people are interested in that Chicago Bulls dynasty, but they're also interested in Michael Jordan. They are also interested in Michael Jordan. So to kind of overlook that. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. And Scottie trying to do that with a straight face and say he's the GOAT. No, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Scottie Pippen ain't nowhere close to being a GOAT. That's not even a conversation had nowhere. And Stephen A. Smith brought up another point. If you were the GOAT, why were you only saying it now? Why weren't you like, come on, like, let's stop. Let's stop the nonsense. I agree with Stephen A. Smith on this. Let's stop the madness. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.